Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are going to finally crack the code on what is arguably one of the most notoriously tricky parts of the German language. I'm talking about reflexive verbs. If you've ever found yourself completely lost, just wondering why a perfectly good German sentence suddenly has extra words like mich or sich just floating around in it, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to break this down step by step so you can actually feel confident using them in everyday conversation. So no more guessing, just clear structural understanding. Let's get into it. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll start with what reflexive verbs actually are, then meet the pronouns, dive into real versus fake reflexives, map out the sentence structure rules, and wrap it all up with some bonus tips. Section 1. What are reflexive verbs? Let's kick things off by defining our core concept here. I want you to think of this like a mirror effect. The action of the sentence is reflecting directly back onto the person doing it, meaning the subject and the object are completely identical. To put that into perspective, if you aren't feeling well in German, you'd say, Ich fühle mich nicht gut. Literally translated, that's I feel myself not good. In this grammatical mirror we've created, the subject ich and the object mich are the exact same person. The action just loops right back around to where it started. Now, I know this next part sounds a little painful, but acknowledging it up front is honestly your very first step to mastery. As Janis from Your German Teacher points out, there's no magic rule here. You can't just guess if a verb is reflexive based on its ending or what it means. It's really just a quirk of the language. We literally just have to memorize them. But hey, don't worry. Once you see the underlying pattern of how they actually function, that memorization becomes infinitely easier. Your brain will start locking it in automatically. Moving right along to Section 2, meet the pronouns. Let's get you equipped with the essential tools you need to actually build these sentences. We are talking specifically about the accusative reflexive pronouns today. And the absolutely crucial point here is that the subject and the reflexive pronoun are a package deal. They cannot be mismatched. If your subject is ich, your pronoun has to be mich. Du takes dich. Wir takes uns, and ihr, referring to you all, takes euch. They have to match perfectly. You're basically assigning a highly specific grammatical shadow to every single subject you use. But here is where it gets really interesting, and honestly, a bit of a relief. The only real difference between normal personal pronouns and reflexive ones is in the third person singular and plural. You probably already know standard words like ihn or sie, but in the reflexive world, for er, sie, es, or the plural sie, it just defaults to one single word, sich. This saves us so much mental energy. Whether you are talking about him, her, it, or them, that reflexive pronoun is just sich. Done. Section 3. Real versus fake reflexives. Or, in German, echte und unechte. This right here is the absolute heart of our explainer. Let's put on our detective hats for a second. We need to figure out how to classify unechte, which means fake, and echte, which means real. German has both, and understanding the difference completely changes how you build your sentences. So, with an echte or fake reflexive verb like waschen, the pronoun doesn't actually have to match the subject. Why? Because you can easily swap it out for a completely different object. For instance, ich wasche mich means I wash myself, but you can easily change that to ich wasche das Auto, I wash the car. Another great example from Easy German is getting dressed. Ich ziehe mich an means I dress myself, but you could swap out mich for a jacket. Ich ziehe eine Jacke an. The verb survives perfectly fine without the reflexive pronoun. It's flexible. Now let's contrast that with echte, or real, reflexive verbs. We're going to put a lot of emphasis on these because they are incredibly strict and require our utmost attention. For these real verbs, the reflexive pronoun is not optional. It's a fundamental, irreplaceable part of the verb itself. If you remove it, the sentence breaks. It entirely ceases to make sense. This is exactly where English speakers tend to get the most tripped up, so let's really lock this in. These verbs are the real deal. Take apologizing, for example. If Jensen and Eddie need to apologize to each other, they must use sich entschuldigen. If students misbehave when a teacher leaves the room, they use sich benehmen. The same goes for verbs like sich freuen, to look forward to something, or sich entscheiden, to make a decision. You can't just behave or decide in a vacuum in German. The grammar literally locks the action back onto you. To make this undeniably clear, just look at how sich konzentrieren works. It only functions when the subject and object match. I mean, think about it. You absolutely cannot concentrate the car. Fake reflexive verbs let you wash the car, sure, but real reflexive verbs force the action strictly back onto the subject. Ich konzentriere mich. It's permanently locked in. It might sound a little funny to translate it as I concentrate myself, but in German, that is literally the only way the language allows you to express that thought. Section 4. German sentence structure rules. We know the pronouns, we know the real from the fake, so where do these words actually go? Well, in the best case scenario, a standard main clause, it is a simple 1, 2, 3 step process. First, your subject sits proudly in position 1. Second, the conjugated verb takes its rightful place in position 2. And third, the reflexive pronoun sits right behind that conjugated verb. Ich konzentriere mich. Simple, elegant, straightforward. Once you internalize this 1, 2, 3 rhythm, building standard sentences becomes total second nature. But, of course, we like to shake things up, right? If we use a question or a subordinate clause, your golden rule is to glue that reflexive pronoun right behind the subject. If you use a question word, throwing the subject out of position 1, the pronoun just chases it. For instance, wann trefft ihr euch? The ear gets pushed, and euch sticks right to it. It really doesn't matter how complex the sentence gets. Find the subject and stick the reflexive pronoun immediately behind it. Okay, there is one sneaky exception to watch out for here. If your subject is a pronoun, like ich or du, the reflexive pronoun must follow it. No exceptions. But if it's a noun, like mein Bruder, you actually have the flexibility to place it before or behind the subject. So in a subordinate clause, you could say, dass sich mein Bruder freut, or dass mein Bruder sich freut. Both work perfectly for nouns. But with personal pronouns, you have no choice. It goes right behind. Section 5, bonus tips. Let's quickly elevate your German to the next level. A lot of these real reflexive verbs absolutely love to team up with specific prepositions. So do yourself a massive favor and memorize them together as a package deal. Don't just learn sich konzentrieren, learn sich konzentrieren auf. Don't just learn sich freuen, learn sich freuen auf. Grouping them in your memory like this makes constructing sentences later so much smoother. If you try to learn the verb first and the preposition later, you are literally doing double the work for half the result. I really hope this structured look at reflexive verbs has given you the confidence you need to tackle them. We've seen that while there are fake reflexive verbs that give you some wiggle room, the real magic and the truly strict rules lies with those echte, real reflexive verbs. Mastering those is a massive milestone in speaking natural-sounding German. So the real question is, which real reflexive verb are you going to bravely use in your very next German conversation?